So the fit could be admirable, but you have to look at it very carefully, dispassionately, and come up with a decision as to whether interacting and relating to someone of that age as a primary significant other is really right for you and for them. This is Mike Balaban. Welcome back to another episode of BAMMER Talks. I'm decided to focus on the whole notion of age gaps in dating between gay men when there is a pronounced difference in age between the two partners, something that is increasingly commonplace today and was really very rare in the past, let's say 30, 40 years ago when I was coming out. In order to support the suspicion I have that things are more frequent in that large age gap dating world, I have initiated a survey, and I did that on my Instagram and my Facebook pages. Already we have 250 to 300 responses from those two audiences, in which case you will have it about 2 weeks behind those other audiences. But don't worry, I'm going to take the inputs that you give and the inputs that they give and combine them into one large statistical support base. So why is this such an interesting thing? Because it's in flux. The changes are happening greatly in the dating world when it comes to age acceptance. In the 1970s, when I was coming out, it was a very different world. Being gay was, if not still illegal, definitely not approved of by society at large. Your families might disown you. Your jobs could fire you. You might be sent to a mental institution. That wasn't changed until the mid-70s on up through mid-80s. So if you knew you were gay, you hid it. You had to. The few gay couples that existed back then, it was not a time for partnering. They never told their straight friends and family that they were lovers. They pretended to be just friends and then would get together on the weekend at the summer house and live together, and no one knew it in the rest of their world. But that's the way it was. And the result of that repression and suppression and denigration of being gay was that gay men who had come out to themselves and had gay friends and were closeted in the workforce, they felt a lot of self-loathing. I mean, society said they weren't worth much, and they kind of believed it. If you've ever seen the movie Boys in the Band from 1969 or the remake on Netflix in 2019, I believe it was, it will depict how sad and depressing it was for gay men. They had a group and they were all there to support each other, but a lot of the time they were bitching and sarcastic and putting each other down because that was a reflection of how much they didn't like themselves. So like I said, they would rally around each other when they needed support, but they were also attacking each other constantly. And so it was a really bitchy existence. Now, if you were my age, I was 24 to 27 in the late 70s. I had three kind of mentor type guys that I managed to meet over time who were gay, closeted but gay. They were all around 40. They ran different divisions of my bank, and I would hang out with them sometimes after work. And I was just amazed at the lacerating tone of their remarks towards each other. I was amazed of the fact that they were going out and drinking after work regularly and becoming lushes. And you know, there was nothing there for me to admire or respect, at least in terms of relationship material. Maybe they could help me with my job prospects, advancing further inside our company, or being introduced to and connected to people that they knew in their network at other companies who might want to take a chance in hiring a young person like me. But even there, the job market was pretty easy to navigate in the 70s. Jobs were plentiful, and when you got one, the way the times were back then is people stuck around in the same job for decades. So if you didn't screw up, and if you liked what you were doing, you wouldn't have to leave for 20 or 30 years, if that. And so what's the value of a 40-year-old mid-level manager in a large bank to someone like me when those opportunities exist without his help? In fact, one of those three guys really had a crush on me, and I appreciated it, and I was very friendly and supportive. I let him sleep in the same bed with me once, but we never had sex. I had no interest. So that's the way it was for people back then. The guys who were 40 didn't work out at the gym. They drank a lot. They were self-loathing. They just weren't admirable role models. This is Mike coming to you from Balboa Park, San Diego's version of Central Park, which is about twice the size of that former place. We're on an unusually warm day here. It's 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 centigrade, and I'm coming to you to thank you for all your help and support in growing BAMMER 47 to the 6,200 subscriber level that we reached. We have lofty aspirations to get to 10,000 by year end. And in order to do that, we need your help and that of your friends. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Then hit the notifications bell so you'll receive notice of all the amazing content we have coming for you every 2 weeks. We can't do this without your help. Thank you very much from the BAMMER team, which, by the way, consists of editors in Asia Pacific, London, and LA. You don't think I did this by myself, did you? Thanks again. See you soon. Now, jump ahead to today. The world has changed. It's been a sea change, in fact. The job market is really difficult to navigate. The prospects for anybody looking are dim. You have to work really hard. And then when you do, lo and behold, get a job, it's not going to be good for 10, 20, 30 years. The odds are you're going to have to look for another job in 2 or 3 years. Either you're going to be replaced or you're going to get tired of what it is and feel like you're not being given opportunities. So every 2 or 3 years you move. The job help that a very senior 40 or 50-year-old gay guy in an institution can give to someone like my age back in the 70s is immense. He can navigate, he can introduce, he can leverage. And so young guys recognize that and the importance of it. Not only that, guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s now have made it through this gauntlet of the job workforce in these difficult environments. They've succeeded, they've prospered, they've run divisions, they've saved a lot of money, they managed to buy 1, maybe 2 houses, including a vacation home. They work out at the gym, even in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's partly become second nature to them, kind of a habit. Like I still work out and I'm 73 years of age. I have a trainer every week. So if you're a 25-year-old and you're looking at a 45-year-old, he's fit, in good shape, likes himself a lot, has a lot of self-confidence, has made it to the workforce, can probably advise you how to do the same, maybe help you find new contacts and new job opportunities. And oh, by the way, he's got resources you don't. So at the very least, if you go out to dinner, he's going to pay. And maybe there's more than just that available. Maybe you end up liking this guy enough and seeing the benefit of becoming partners. Now that evolves over time and it has a lot of caveats associated with it. For example, one 32-year-old I've been talking to as part of this survey who's involved over 10 years with a 67-year-old and who's always been attracted to older men and always dated as well as been in relationships with them, tells me that he's heard anecdotally from other friends and things he's observed that there are a lot of young guys turning to older men just because of the economics. I mean, that doesn't mean they might learn to like the guy or really care for him or even love him, but they start out looking at it as a rescue, a way out. And some of these older guys know that and don't mind. I mean, they've got the resources. Why not make them available for their partner? But others are not even aware. They're blithely unaware that they're being taken advantage of, and who knows where that might end up. So there are all kinds of reasons. You first of all have to be attracted to the partner who's much younger or much older. And then you have to see how your personalities fit. The way I've always thought about it, I'm more attracted to younger men myself, although I aim to get as close to my age as possible. But I've always looked at it as, if all the other markers match up, if you're compatible in every major way, and the big distinguishing difference is the fact that there's a 20-year age gap, then you have to suspend your judgment of somebody who's 20 years younger than you. They may, in many ways, be more advanced than you in terms of some of the things they've learned. They certainly know how to deal with the technology changes in the world today. They have a lot of savvy that we still lack. So the fit could be admirable, but you have to look at it very carefully, dispassionately, and come up with a decision as to whether interacting and relating to someone of that age as a primary significant other is really right for you and for them. So please, once again, the survey should appear on the screen right now. If you will click on it, it simply will ask you what's your age, your partner's age, the gap between those two numbers, and how long you've been together. Now, I just took a sneak peek as a tease for you. The interesting thing is, there were 21 people dating out of 280 where the age gap was 30 or larger, with the largest being 45 years. There were another 20 or so where the age gap 20 to 30 years. And then when I looked at the bottom half of the survey of 280, doing what is the median average, that's where you look at the point where half are on one side of that number and the other half are on the other side. When I did it 3.5 years ago, I was shocked to find that number was 8.5. Whereas when I was coming out in the 70s, I bet it wasn't more than 2 or 3 years apart. Well, so far at least, with 280 surveys in, half of them are more than 9.5 years together, and half are less than 9.5 years together. So it has continued to widen in the last 3 years. It's just become really acceptable, showing you that the trend continues to exacerbate. And I think it's healthy. I think it frees people up to be with whomever they want, not worrying about age. Just to give you an idea, I was at a wedding in Italy last month of a dear longtime friend who's 62 and married a 28-year-old he'd been living with for 3 years. A mutual friend of his and mine who flew with me from San Diego to that wedding is 55, and he's 3 years into dating a 22-year-old. And the mentor to both these guys, my friend in San Diego and the bridegroom from Italy, the mentor to them died last year at 90 of Parkinson's disease. And after having been married straight with kids, later in life came out and from his 60s on dated younger gay men. And the last 25 years of his life, he had a lover who was 35 years younger than him, who doted on him. The love was genuine. So everywhere I turn these days, people are matching up for reasons that leave age out as a major consideration. And I think that's healthy. I'd love to hear your views on this subject. I get so many people when I tell them about my friends who just got married or whatever, being 30 years apart, saying, oh, they'll find out that's not going to work. And the fact of the matter is, I've been close enough to these people to meet the younger partner and to find out that in almost every way, they're old souls, as the people call them. They are very serious about their lives and in their love for their older partner. All right, that's been it. Please submit your own situation and your own views on the intergenerational dating phenomena that is kind of exploding right now. Thanks. This has been another episode of BAMMER Talks. Bye.